Good morning, degenerates, and welcome to another episode of Boring Crypto.io, the place where I read you the boring crypto news every morning, Monday through Friday, just so you don't have to. My name is Not Important, and I'm your host, LFG. Bittrex files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy just weeks after SEC charges. Concern over banking crisis reaches levels unseen since 2008. Coinbase legal chief sends letter to SEC on RIA rulemaking. And last but not least, Sam is back in the news. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried urges court to dismiss charges. To the market. Current market cap sitting at $1.140 trillion. Bitcoin dominance 46.9, ETH dominance 19.5, and a whopping 59 Gwei will get you an ETH transaction. Significantly down from yesterday. Is the meme coin hysteria slowing down? I don't know. We'll see. We pulled back just slightly a little bit more with Bitcoin yesterday, guys. We're going to look at that here in just a second. Outside of that, kind of flat across the board based off of recent pullbacks and bounces. Nothing significant that I'm seeing right now in the green. Let's just Bitcoin Cash up. Oh, hold on. Bitcoin Cash up 8% on the day. God. Lido DAO 8.8. Yeah, let's go to Bitcoin. All right. What do we've got the golden arches, guys. We got McDonald's showing up on the charts. Mickey D's is like, "What's up? I am here." No, I'm an idiot. We talked about yesterday potentially going back down to the 7,310 level, which is exactly what we did. We hit that support, bounced off of it, bounced right back up to that 27.6 level, which is another level I was telling you guys about yesterday. And now that 27.6 now is looking like our support. Hopefully it holds. I'm going to open this up just a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. Again, without getting too crazy into the charts, guys, because this isn't a trading channel. I'm a terrible trader. Don't pay attention to me. I'm just some random guy in his room doing YouTube videos. This is not financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor. Trade crypto at your own risk. It is heavily volatile. But what we see here is, again, a bounce off of that 27.3 level, which is actually one of my buy orders. Bounced off of it, like I said, jumped up to that 27.6. We're breaking down past that 27.6 now just a little bit. But again, keep an eye for this stuff to hold. If it doesn't, we are going to go down potentially to these next levels here. 25.8, looking like the big dip if we get down there. So outside of that, guys, nothing new really. I think the market is just trying to figure out what it wants to do after the Bitcoin fear that recently just went down with the bogging down of the network, etc., etc. Binance shutting down withdrawals. I think people are trying to figure out what they're going to do. But like I've said for the last couple weeks, this really is just ranging, and it is a big range level, but that's what we're doing. This is sideways movement, in my opinion. Nothing out of the ordinary, in my honest opinion. Outside of that, guys, that's all I really got on Bitcoin. Nothing crazy going on. Let's move on to the news and then get you on your day. Bittrex files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy just weeks after the SEC charges. The firm estimated it had more than 100,000 creditors between $500 million and $1 billion in assets and between $500 million and $1 billion in liabilities. Cryptocurrency trading platform Bittrex has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the District of Delaware. In a May 8th filing in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware, Bittrex estimated it had more than 100,000 creditors between $500 million and $1 billion in assets and between $500 million and $1 billion in liabilities. As part of bankruptcy proceedings, the bankruptcy covers its Seattle-based entity Bittrex Inc., two Bittrex entities in Malta, and an affiliated entity, Desolation Holdings LLC. Bittrex Global GmbH. God, There's so much. The Liechtenstein-based global entity for exchange was not included in the filing. The declaration followed the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission charging the company and its co-founder and former CEO William Shihara for securities violations in April. The SEC claimed Bittrex Inc. and all those other names operated as unregistered securities exchange. In October, the exchange also received charges pertaining to Bank Secrecy Act violations from the U.S. Treasury Office of Foreign Assets Control, the OFAC, and the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network agreed to pay around $29 million in a settlement. OFAC is the largest creditor listed on Bittrex's bankruptcy filing, with the exchange booking a $24.2 million claim for the office. Its next largest creditor is a crypto wallet with a $14.5 million claim. FinCEN is also listed as a top 50 creditor with a claim of $3.5 million. The SEC is listed with an undetermined amount of claims. Try not to sneeze, guys. The SEC's enforcement action and its recent bankruptcy filing comes as Bittrex announced in March that it would wind down its U.S. operations by April 30th, citing continued regulatory uncertainty in the country. It has been a hard year for Bittrex entity in the U.S. in 2023. The exchange also cut 83 employees in February, citing the crypto market down caused by the collapse and bankruptcies of other crypto firms. Bittrex bankruptcy is the latest in a line of other crypto exchanges or lending platforms that have also recently filed for Chapter 11 protection, including FTX, BlockFi, Celsius, Voyager, Digital. All the things we already know about, we've been talking about for quite some time. Cointelegraph contacted Bittrex's global CEO, Oliver Lynch, for a comment, but did not immediately receive a response. They've been talking on Twitter about this kind of openly, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I didn't have any money on Bittrex, nor did I trade on Bittrex, so this really hasn't affected me. If it has affected you, by all means, let me know. Comments down below how this is affecting you and what steps you're taking to try and get your money back, I guess. Moving on. Concerns over banking crisis reaches levels unseen since 2008. I was 25 when the 2008 crash happened. Crazy stuff, guys, and it's getting there again. No. According to a recent poll from Gallup, nearly half of Americans are concerned about the safety of their money deposited with banks. Me and my families included. Public opinion of banks appears to be dwindling, according to an April survey, as the industry struggles to contain the collapse of several high-profile financial institutions in recent months. A Gallup poll conducted across the United States in April, with at least 1,000 respondents, revealed that 48% of them said that they were concerned about their money in the bank, with almost 20% who indicated that they were very concerned. There's your poll. It should be noted, however, that the poll was conducted after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, but before First Republic Bank failed in late April, so it's probably worse now, is what they're saying. Gallup concluded that the level of worry was on par with that measured during the last bank-induced financial crisis in 2008, when financial institutions previously believed to be too big to fail collapsed. The latest readings are similar to those in 2008 in September of that year, shortly after the collapse of Lehman Brothers, which remains the largest bankruptcy filing in U.S. history. Hundreds of American banks at risk. Meanwhile, experts at the Hoover Institution think tank postulate that if half of all uninsured savers withdrew all of their cash, 186 American banks would be at potential risk of impairment. I'm calling BS. I think if 2% of people in the United States pulled out their money, the entire whole thing would collapse. They're saying half of all uninsured savers withdrew all their cash. I'm assuming, quote unquote, uninsured savers. I would assume they just mean people that have money in the bank. I'm not sure what that means. These banks have a total assets of $300 billion, but represent less than 5% of the estimated 4,135 FDIC. Oh, okay, I'm wrong. FDIC insured commercial banks in the United States. Furthermore, according to reports, California-based PacWest, Arizona Western Alliance, and Memphis-based First Horizon hang in the balance following a share price slump last week. A more damning report emerged from UK's Telegraph earlier this month, suggesting that half of the banks in America could be insolvent. Ugh, more than half, guys. I'm leaning way towards more than half. Insider research published in April by Stanford University banking expert Amit Saru, who estimated that more than 2,315 U.S. banks are currently sitting on assets worth less than their liabilities. The U.S. banking system market value assets is $2.2 trillion, lower than suggested by their book value of assets, according to for loan portfolios held to maturity, he said. It's about to get uglier, is what this looks like. Like I said, we've pulled a substantial amount of our money out of banks. Not trusting it, man. Last thing I want to do is be told that my money isn't there. Let me know what you guys are doing. Comments down below. Moving on, Coinbase legal chief sends letter to SEC on RIA rulemaking. Coinbase's chief legal officer requests revision of SEC's RIA custody rule to safeguard all asset classes, including cryptocurrencies, criticizing the rule for unfairly targeting crypto. You think? Coinbase legal chief has requested that the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, the SEC, make several revisions to its proposed regulation of the responsibilities of registered investment advisors, the RIAs, to store client assets with qualified custodians. Although the U.S. SEC acknowledges Coinbase's custody as a qualified custodian, Coinbase contends that the updated RIA custody rule unfairly targets crypto, and make improper assumptions about custodial practices based on securities. According to the letter, Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal sent on May 9th, the proposed SEC rulemaking fails to safeguard other asset classes such as cryptocurrencies. Coinbase is the owner and operator of Coinbase Custody Trust Company, which is recognized as a qualified custodian for RIA clients. This custodian is responsible for protecting client assets from potential threats such as bankruptcy and cyber attacks. This letter advocates for an expansion of the custody obligations proposal to ensure that it remains adaptable to future investments and protects them appropriately. An IRA, or excuse me, wow. Dyslexic, am I? An RIA, not IRA, is a company that provides advice to clients on investments in securities and may handle their investment portfolios. These firms are registered with the SEC or state securities administrators. In the letter addressed to the SEC, Grewal criticized the proposed rulemaking titled Safeguarding Advisory Client Assets. Proposed Rule 223-1 as being misguided. Grewal called for a revision to the proposal and staff guidance highlighting the need to safeguard all asset classes, including crypto assets, which haven't been classified as securities until now. Several revisions to the rule are suggested by Paul Grewal to protect investors, which includes defining state trust companies and other state-regulated financial institutions as qualified custodians, and a long-standing congressional and SEC policy. He also proposed allowing limited exposure to non-qualified custodians and removing the ban on RIA client trades on crypto exchanges that are not qualified custodians. The United States SEC is expected to comply with the court order and respond to Coinbase's writ of mandamus. This week, Coinbase filed a lawsuit in April of 2022 requesting that the court compel the SEC to publicly disclose its stance on a petition submitted several months prior. In the petition, the exchange posed 50 specific questions about the regulatory treatment of certain digital assets. Coinbase ready to go to the war with the SEC. We'll see how this goes. All right, guys, last story of the day. and get you out of here. FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried urges court to dismiss charges. Oh, Sam. Don't forget, guys, he pleaded not guilty to all charges being thrown at him. Not guilty. While the other two goofballs in the situation have already pled guilty and have entered a plea deal. Lawyers representing Sam Bankman-Fried want all but 3 charges against him dismissed in a filing on May 8th, which was yesterday. FTX founder and former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried is seeking to have up to 10 criminal charges against him dismissed in court months ahead of his scheduled criminal trial in October. In court documents filed in the Southern District Court of New York on May 8th, SBF's legal team pushed to dismiss everything apart from 3 counts of conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Commenting on the move, crypto researcher Molly White suggested that at least part of it seems to come down to the fact that additional charges were added after SBF's extradition agreement was made. SBF was initially extradited to the U.S. from the Bahamas to face 8 criminal charges of alleged fraud and money laundering. However, his legal team is arguing that the 4 of the 5 additional charges that were since been added from February violates the treaty's rule of specialty provisions. Under the rule of specialty, the requesting state, the U.S., is generally bound to trial the extradited offender, SBF, only for the offense for which they were extradited. During the extradition proceeding in the Bahamas, it was the understanding of all parties in the court, quorum judice, and the court itself, that the specialty provisions applied, notwithstanding the use of simplified procedure. God, lawyer speak is so weird. There was no waiver of the rule of specialty. To the contrary, there was an express acknowledgement that it applied, the lawyers argued. That's gibberish to me. I even had trouble reading it. Lawyer speak is so weird. I think it's written that way to make it confusing so people get effed. Going on, these 4 charges include conspiracy to commit bank fraud and other individual wire fraud. Charges related to his alleged actions at FTX and Alameda. The most recent charge added on March 28th concerns the alleged $40 million bribery of a Chinese government official. Aside from this, SBF's lawyer are also seeking to dismiss other charges relating to conspiracy to defraud the United States and charges relating to wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, arguing that there has been a failure to state an adequate offense in these counts. According to his legal team, the initial indictment sent via a diplomatic note fails to properly specify the violation relating to campaign financial laws, and it also doesn't reference any U.S. bank accounts, including any bank account affiliated with FTX or Alameda, relating to the wire fraud charges. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan will hear arguments on June 15th on this dismissal request, and prosecutors will have until May 29th to respond. Despite the request, SBF's inner circle all pleading guilty, this is what I said earlier, and agreeing to cooperate with prosecutors. The man himself has pled not guilty to the charges laid against him. SBF has been on house arrest in his parents' home in Palo Alto since December. Recently, Judge Kaplan approved taps on SBF's parents' phones as a way of meeting bail conditions, despite SBF's legal team requesting a revision. Excuse me. Again, allergies, super bad. I don't know, this dude, all of this is shady. The dude should go down. We all know that. Nothing, I mean, he's trying to wiggle his way out of everything, so nothing surprises me here. Outside of that, guys, look at Bitcoin one more time before we get out of here. We are back above that 27, we'll call it 27. We are at 27.6 basically right now. So let's see if that holds. If not, we're going to 27.3. See if that holds. If not, potentially breaking down through these levels, potentially to that 25.8. Let's call it 26. Psychological level. Well, let's see what happens. Outside of that, guys, per usual, if you do enjoy the content I provide here for you every morning on BoringCrypto.io, please by all means subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for notifications, watch, share, and like all of these videos, please. And I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. I am out of here.